There's something quite tantalizing about symphonic metal numbers with an elaborate duration. And in this case, I can't help but get vibes directly back into Pirates, the first chapter, with Pirates 2 Armada being a beautiful follow-up so far, 5 numbers in, going on track 6, in a collaborative respect with all of you, as we witness, as I promised you, a full tour for the sequel, like I gave the honor of Visions of Atlantis' predecessor record. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm sure many of you fellow sailors expected that, even before I declared that that was my intention, when I found out the album was being released, and it is an honor to enjoy it with you so far, as it is anything from the Visions of Atlantis library. They've become a favorite name of mine, as I've been saying for a long time, ever since I was introduced a year ago. From the deep and the dark on, I've really taken a liking to such a beautiful voice within the European metal catalog, which is always impressive, but symphonic metal, power metal, melodic metal influence, and very much a fusion of all three styles with an elaborate conception, beautiful instrumentals, and captivating vocals. Visions of Atlantis is always impressed as far as I'm concerned in our encounters together, and again, to the credit of every fan of theirs and longtime sailor that advances me, thank you for making them such a potent reference in my comment section. I have not regretted a moment or a day with this group in any adventure that we've had the honor of taking together, and it is truly a privilege. To the credit of any artist here as we enjoy work together, but for Visions of Atlantis, this is such a special journey that we're taking. And Pirates 2 continues on the legacy of its first opening chapter. I wonder though directly, is this going to carry with it, as this is what we're about to entertain, a little over a 7-minute number? Does this carry with it the epicness of Master the Hurricane, and you could as well say with accordance to other symphonic metal favorites of mine that happen to offer longer publications at or a little over 7 minutes in the cases of some encounters that we have yet to get to, right? That epic temptation. Will that be embodied by the Dead of the Sea? I'm sure it will. Now, we will find out, of course, for certainty together in a minute, but just on presumption, I have absolute faith in this group. They have not let me down at all. And I'm sure for those of you who walk into Visions of Atlantis as a fresh name, and I hope that there's some of you it's going to fit the billing, I would recommend to you that because we are taking a full album tour, it is worth your time to do this. I, number one, highly recommend the predecessor record, the first chapter, but for you, I would recommend as well taking adventures for yourself into the predecessor tracks, of which, again, this is track 6 to specify. So the first 5 numbers we've recognized here in a differentiated order from album listing, going by what was released as singles and not. But starting at track 1, I would continue on wherever you want to do so in mutual company with me and other fellow sailors, or just by yourself. I'll let that determination be made up to you. But it is worth your time to experience the holistic picture of what Visions of Atlantis is offering in their entirety of voice here. Just trust me, and the other fellow sailors who I'm sure will concur, that Pirates 2 is a great follow-up so far, a very successful one, and I'm sure that legacy will continue well, as there's a lot of heart to this album. It's evident in the way the lyrics are constructed and the way the instrumentals pierce your heart like the last one did, and certainly every entry on Pirates. This is a beautiful album. With the follow-up here being to Armada, as well a great epic pirate number. The Dead of the Sea, though, with its 7-minute play. Let's see that epicness that I know Visions of Atlantis commands well just vibrantly come to life. I'm sure it will. But to what extreme? Softer, harder number somewhere in the middle? Let's see for ourselves, but I'm sure it'll perform with extreme resonance and love.
My fearful heart, a home to many ghosts, remembers all the battles I lost. From the fire to the frost.
I like the shade of Meek's vocals here. It's almost like a spoken word fairy tale audiobook reading. Softer pace, but I like the flute. Clear rhythm, and I like the key here. It's reminding me of some of the pieces off of Pirates. Freedom comes to mind. On a different key, but some of the note patterns seem similar to me. It amplifies its voice like Master the Hurricane in the same way, but specialized. See, I hear that I think it's one of the bridge sections of the verse, the fate of the men line and freedom. Really good so far. As I was saying, the skeleton looks the same. But here we differentiate with a choir. I love it. And how it melds into the key illustration and note pattern. I love the breaks too. Clementine is shining with this one. And Meek keeps some of his voice still trails around at differentiated pitches, but the emphasis is reined in until it's intended to go further, like that end line. I love the jump on beat. There's still that clear, relatable resonance too. Again, just masked behind such a brilliant Pirates concept and well-worded narrative. I'm looking forward to more adventurous vocals, perhaps I get a reprise with this. Yes, similar patterns as that first verse. I love hearing the choir return back too. This is shaping up so far to be probably my favorite entry on the record so far. And it is a holistic remark to a number of the records. Again, VOA is such a beauty. A jumpy break, not Brad. And the flute gives a very interesting cue that is specific to this one. It's meshed to this score though so well. I love how the riff drives for number 2. That emphasis is so strong here. It's only natural that we have such a grandiose rock number and we get a guitar breakdown. And it stands well in the body of the piece. It feels earned and natural.
My grieving heart, my lonely misery.
We're working our way to closure, and this is a great recap.
The battles I won.
In fact, mimics the body of Master the Hurricane in its own way, but it's still, it's reminiscent.
Forgiving all, I'll be forgiven me.
Because there is a softer section that allowed for a moment of breath and build up. However delightfully long it takes, deliberately so. I love the urge to continue. You know, some of the cues to Wanderers come back with this record as well. The softer hues to it and some of the instrumental choices within those break sections, as differentiated and versatile on pace as they happen to be. And I love that choice. Yes, it does carry with it that same beauty as any long, elaborate, epic symphonic metal anthem. And it does remind me of Master of the Hurricane on Experience, though different and special to its own voice. And I love that. Speaking of voice, strength on vocals, the personality within the verse sections on part of Clementine and Meek. Meek with the end caps on his sections before the vocals intermix on the choruses with such strength. But Clementine as well, with not only the higher range choices, but that little roughened snarl in the background with some of the words and the vibration of pitch too. Let me find a good example of this. Okay, I think it's on the second section of the first verse where she's singing. I think it's on the I Will Stand My Ground line, for example. I forget when the snarl, if that comes in. But you hear that raspiness. It's so clever. It's brief, but it's repetitious within the numbers construction, which I love. But there's a reminder of that. So specifically and evidently within the second verse is a fabulous choice. But the key... The overall medley and pace, I love the breakdown section too. It's very well placed. The spots of breath, though, and how they embody this original pattern, because the switch back to a roughened voice is so immediate. And within those sections where you think there's going to be this drawn out separation from the heavier, harder, accelerated route, I really like that idea. It's an inspirational number, and its many facets make it as much of an experience, an adventure like Master of the Hurricane was. Again, different choices. I still love Master of the Hurricane as a piece. The tragedy of the key, but blended with the vocal command and the instrumental choices and how epic, again, and sweeping of a number it is, plus the choir. You can't go wrong there. And very, I don't know if it's maybe a similar body of individuals here, but certainly on styling, it reminds me a lot of like Zondria, for example, especially on that latest piece, Universal, that new single. Oh, I love that one still. But I get a clear thread here. And it's just beautiful. Really is. The Dead of the Sea. And it carries with it that heart, that relatability, that still, despite the pirate's concept, makes Visions of Atlantis have such an evident grounded spirit that you easily connect with if you're looking for that type of raw honesty in metal and something to latch on to. But you feel like there's the voice of the number is speaking to you, and wherever you might be, with such beautiful articulation, as I said. Where is the line I'm looking at specifically? A swan without a song, I do not belong. Man, that could speak to any metalhead, right? The Dead of the Sea. Oh, and yet there's a beauty to that, because it really is like we're all together. You know, I love the metal community. We're such fun people, not to speak of myself, but I know for many of you that have graced this channel to any artist credit, we've had such a fun time together, even with some metal outliers from time to time. It depends on where we choose to go and per your recommendations, and there are exceptions to the general mainstay here. But, oh, Metal Journeys, I love taking them because it's such a fantastic venue of art and exploration and just beauty in the world and connection. Music readily gives us an art form. It's part of the reason I revere it so much, and metal names like Visions of Atlantis just every time enthrall me. And I hope it's similar for you if you walk in to The Dead of the Sea on a fresh lens or informed, that you just fall in love with the score here. I love its evolution, its pace, the choices it makes, the breath sections, the instrumental decisions, the vocals, everything gets me. The narrative, it's a resonant anthem that I think is shaping up. And you know I don't like to rank things. I don't want to risk overarching ever favorites and neglecting to notice ever pieces or seemingly ignoring them. Because Pirates 2 as an adventure so far has been great holistically. Now we're at the halfway point in the album. In fact, as we get to the next piece, we've reached that benchmark. How cool. My promise is nearly fulfilled. And I get to humor Pirates 2 again and again and again for myself as soon as we cap off our fresh experience witnessed together, and that's going to be fun. But just on first exposure, man, I feel so honored to be in the position I'm in. I hope you enjoy these journeys too, again, however you approach longtime fans or developing sailors. I hope you like The Dead of the Sea. Carries with it for me, again, that safe favoritism I look on with Pirates so fondly, especially with Master of the Hurricane. Oh, it connects. Next up, in fact, a continuation literally on name, it seems. I don't know if that's going to be the direction the number goes. But speaking of The Dead of the Sea, we have the Ashes to the Sea. Maybe a cremation motif? I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe all the flags burning or the ships burning. Who knows? I guess that would literally play into the Pirates concept. Either way, I'm sure it's going to be a fun continuation as we go beyond the halfway point for Pirates 2 and continue on this brilliant chapter following the footsteps of such a beautiful predecessor, which is believable, again, concerning Visions of Atlantis. And as much as I'm impressed with that record, this one follows right in line. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.